The Patagonia in its pure, wild and natural state teaches us about the care and responsibility required when it comes to working with our natural resources. We are a mining company working in the exploration, mining, production and exportation of gold and silver. Cerro Vanguardia is comprised of two shareholders, Anglo Gold Ashanti with a shareholding of 92.5% and Fomicruz, a government company in the province of Santa Cruz, with a shareholding of 7.5%, which in turn manages other mining and oil operations in the province. For this reason, the provincial state is entitled to 6.6% out of each sale, 1% in concept of the province mining royalty, and 7.5% of the profits. We are a leading mining company with a social concern, a strong sense of belonging in its employees, and an unwavering goal: to work in favor of safety, social responsibility, environmental care, and community growth.
Cerro Vanguardia es el emprendimiento minero aurífero más importante de la provincia de Santa Cruz y uno de los más relevantes de la República Argentina. Vamos a conocerlo y también vamos a interiorizarnos de su trabajo, de su aplicación de la tecnología, de su cultura por la seguridad y también del profundo cuidado de este entorno natural inigualable.
Since we started our operations in Argentina in 1998, we have invested over $500 million. We first employed 260 people, and currently more than 1,500 men and women are part of Cerro Vanguardia and have the responsibility of implementing and developing state-of-the-art technology to perform our tasks with the utmost efficiency, the strictest safety standards, and a minimal environmental impact, in order to be a model mining company in the new, productive Argentina.
La minería requiere de inversiones millonarias solo para saber si un área determinada es viable o no, económica y productivamente. Ese gran riesgo lo asumen los empresarios dedicados a la minería. Y para saber si un área es sustentable o no, hay que hacer múltiples y constantes tareas de exploración. Para eso se necesita gente capacitada, tecnología, equipamiento y mucho conocimiento del tema. Y para que ustedes tengan una idea del riesgo de inversión que significa la minería, solo el 1% de los proyectos de exploración terminan siendo un yacimiento minero.
Exploration precedes mining itself. It consists of identifying the areas which are rich enough in gold and silver in order to justify the extraction process. The identification of new veins and the expansion of already known ones are the keys to the exploration strategy. The first step is geological mapping, which consists of the surveying of the different types of rock existing in the area and the superficial sampling of the concerned sectors. We have declared reserve of 2.2 million ounces of gold, which allow us for an exploitation horizon with proved reserves for the next 8 years. Additionally, in a context of investment and development, it enables the company to be still in production by 2023.
Diversos métodos de exploración son los que determinan concretamente si un área determinada reúne las condiciones básicas y necesarias para desarrollar allí un yacimiento minero.
Ours is considered to be a world-class mining company with medium tonnage and high-grade minerals. It is a vast field of quartz veins of epithermal origin encased in Jurassic volcanic rocks. To carry out the exploration, it is necessary to plan perforations in a grid of at least 4 by 40 meters. It is done with perforation equipment, and the methods used are diamantine and reverse drilling. The small holes done during this part of the process are mapped and characterized by lithology, alterations and structure, and the information is stored in a central database. In order to determine the gold and silver grade, the samples are then sent to the lab to be tested with state-of-the-art equipment. During this process, one of the vital steps is the 3D modeling of the vein in order to design the long-term block model associated with a great tonnage of gold and silver. These are our natural resources. To carry out this design, we use all the available information in the area. The information gathered by these activities is then delivered to the planning area, where the pit is designed. At this stage, the data gathered earlier in the process is taken into account, and many technical and financial analyses are made, considering, among other things, equipment, operational costs, and market prices. The ratio between sterile and mineral material will allow us to determine how profitable the operation will be.
Hasta aquí hemos conocido las etapas de exploración y también la planificación para la producción minera. Pero antes de continuar con este tema, vamos a conocer el recurso humano y también la tecnología aplicada a la seguridad.
Whether they are direct employees or contractors providing services for our organization, a large group of men and women are part of a professional team committed to the goals set by the company.
En Cerro Vanguardia, más del 90% de los empleados es santacruceño, ha decidido radicarse en la provincia desde hace muchos años. Y esto es posible gracias al firme compromiso de la empresa de darle trabajo a la gente que vive en la región. Y no solo darle trabajo, sino también brindarle la capacitación necesaria para que esa persona tenga el conocimiento técnico y pueda trabajar en este yacimiento minero.
Over 90% of them live within the region. Therefore, the workers' commitment with their natural resources is also a commitment with the environment in which they live with their family. Additionally, our company favors a strict and methodic development of both personal and work safety. This system protects the worker and, in turn, enables them to protect their resources and be aware of their safety, being of the utmost importance for the entire organization. This general instruction must be followed, so as not to cause any negative impact on the environment and prevent accidents and incidents. This approach guarantees a safe working day under international safety certifications. This allows for teams in which each worker, no matter which their job is, feels protected and part of a company that takes care of all factors in the organization. In essence, people are the business. Our business is people. We believe our company's main assets are our collaborators. For that reason, our policy is to create a safe environment that stimulates working and professional growth with the support of the company values. At Cerro Vanguardia SA, we believe that not only employees are part of the company, but their families too. Consequently, we carry out programs to benefit those who work for the company and their beloved ones. In the inhospitable areas of Santa Cruz, the reinforcement of social bonds is essential for the mining family, and leisure activities are central to this purpose. At Cerro Vanguardia, we have developed a huge camp with over 440 rooms, where our employees can play soccer, paddle, ping pong and pool, as well as make use of a fully equipped gym, supervised by professional trainers. The common areas have Wi-Fi internet connection and satellite television, and there is also a library and a cinema screening room. All year round, fishing, football, bowling, soccer and volleyball tournaments are held, as well as other recreational activities that allow for the strengthening of bonds amongst employees in all the levels of the organization and the sense of belonging to the company.
Ya hemos visto cómo esta empresa cumple acabadamente con uno de sus principios fundamentales, que es la seguridad de las personas, hecho que se ve reflejado en cada sector de este yacimiento minero.
It is very important for us to strictly follow the design and the operational traces that comply with the geometrical and geomechanical parameters, ensuring the pit stability. It is essential to ensure the safety of the equipment and cleaning of the area in the gathering of the natural vegetal layer that we will later use to reforest the afflicted areas. For the design of the pits, we also carry out lab and field tests to determine the mechanical resistance of the rock. This research will let us know which angles we can use in the design of the pits, so that they are safe for both people and our equipment. After that, the bearings and blast designs are made on the basis of the data supplied by the mine geology with a short-term model. Additionally, the diagrams of blast perforation are drawn out. These diagrams are made by the topographic staff using highly accurate, state-of-the-art equipment. The spotters carry out all the necessary tasks to work under the optimal blast conditions. The placement of color flags indicates the boundaries of the load. The load of explosives is performed by a specialized contracted company, which provides the service in the blast site. This company also guarantees the necessary logistics and technical support. Once the area to be blasted is determined, it is closed, blocked, and all personnel and equipment are cleared, in compliance with the strict rules and procedures of personal safety and equipment care. After the blast, auxiliary teams clear the path and gather the material which may have been dispersed. The sterile material will be stacked by the extraction site, while the mineral material will be transported either to the short-term or long-term stock, depending on the current requirements. The extraction of the material is carried out with mechanical shovels of great capacity, filling out tracks of 50 and 90 tons.
Este es el sector en donde la tecnología y la capacidad humana están al servicio de la excelencia de mantenimiento de todos los equipos que participan en el proceso productivo de Cerro Vanguardia. Esto se da en un marco de estricto orden, seguridad y limpieza, y también en el estricto cumplimiento de no contaminación.
This region of the Patagonia steppe is affected by the lack of water. Therefore, it is important to favor its sensible use and optimization by implementing technological procedures of reuse and reinjection in its natural springs. To be able to work in dry conditions during the exploitation phase, we have created a pumping system to extract water out of the deep areas of the pits, pump it to the productive circuits, and reinject it into the subsoil, and in some cases, to pans for its recovery.
Estas lagunas naturales reciben poca agua debido a las escasas lluvias que hay en la región, pero han sido alimentadas con el agua proveniente de los pozos de la mina. Como ustedes pueden ver, se han transformado en pequeños oasis donde conviven en forma concentrada tanto la vegetación como la fauna autóctona. Además, en estos momentos, los especialistas de medio ambiente de Cerro Vanguardia están desarrollando un proyecto de criaderos de truchas en estas lagunas naturales. Y la presencia de estos peces es un elemento bioindicador fehaciente de que no hay presencia de contaminantes en estas lagunas. Es más, hicieron operaciones de raleo de truchas, extrajeron un total de 2.000, las analizaron y las sirvieron como plato principal en el comedor del yacimiento.
In recent years, we at Cerro Vanguardia have adopted an underground extraction method known as sub-level stopping. It involves entering the rock mass transversely through the veins already identified in the various pits, making use of underground drifts. This process is used by AngloGold Ashanti at some of its main mines located in Africa and Brazil, and allows for the optimization of mineral resources and the mining life cycle, thus representing an excellent opportunity for the company's growth and development. It should be noted that subterranean exploitation involves the latest application technology for both production and personal safety tasks.
A medida que hemos recorrido este yacimiento minero, hemos comprobado a cada paso que sin lugar a dudas la seguridad es un principio fundamental de Cerro Vanguardia. Y en este yacimiento minero que estamos aquí en la profundidad podemos ver un refugio móvil, que están ubicados estratégicamente en distintas galerías de la mina y sirven para darle seguridad a todos los empleados que estén trabajando en ese momento en la mina en caso de que se produzca un accidente.
This is our processing plant. It was initially designed to process all the mineral material extracted from the pits, but the implementation of underground exploitation and an extensive investment plan allowed us to greatly increase our annual production. We adopted the latest technology to produce, after a complex process, bullion door bars, made up of gold 8% and silver 92%. The first step of this process is crushing, which reduces 95% of the rock to a grading product under 9.5 millimeters, in order to provide the right size particles for the following phase, called grinding. The size of the extracted material is reduced by 3 different crushers: a primary jaw crusher, a secondary eccentric crusher, and a third, short head crusher, producing a grading product less than 9.5 millimeters. All these machines are connected by conveyors belt and include a dust suppression system based on water mist. Under an aluminum dome, 70 meters in diameter and 21 meters in height, the crushed material is gathered to proceed to its homogenization before the grinding phase. In the second stage of the grinding process, the material gathered under the dome is sent to the ball mill by a conveyor belt. This piece of equipment has high-grade steel balls that crush the material. Water is added to form a pulp that is then sent to a group of hydrocyclones that separate the coarse ore from the ground material. The final product of the grinding is a pulp with 80% of grinding under 0.075 millimeters. It is during this stage that the gold and silver particles in the mineral are exposed in order to proceed to the next step, leaching by agitation. This process consists of the dissolution of the gold and silver contained in the mineral by using sodium cyanide as a leaching agent. This task is performed in tanks contained in waterproof safety parapets, where continual agitation occurs during 35 hours approximately. The leaching process involves cyanide solutions at a pH of 10.5–11.7, thus guaranteeing the soluble state of cyanide and preventing the generation of the dangerous hydrogen cyanide. This condition is reached by adding lime in the thickening circuit. Once we obtain the pulp from the 6 tanks, we need to separate the liquid containing the gold and silver from the solid. The pulp, with a minimum content of metals, and the solution, with a huge amount of gold and silver, are now part of the rich solution and are sent to 2 thickenings for the backwashing process. The aim of this stage is to separate the solution, rich in gold and silver, from the pulp. The solution is obtained through the overflowing of the thickener and it's stored in a rich solution tank. The pulp with 50% of solids is obtained through the bottom of the thickener by underflowing. To help the sedimentation process, we use a flocculant. It allows aggregating the fine particles and accelerating decantation. Since the pulp still contains soluble gold and silver, it is subjected to a carbon leaching process, the absorption of precious metals on activated carbon. The carbon then undergoes a process of acid washing and elution, which results in a solution rich in gold and silver. The carbon used in this stage is then sent to a regeneration furnace, where it recovers its properties to be reused in the process. The rich solution is subjected to a clarification and filtration process that reduces the content of solids to less than 10 parts per million. The final stage of the process is the electrochemical precipitation of soluble metals by adding zinc powder. After this addition, it is necessary to have a concentration of oxygen solved in the solution. This condition is reached by a de-aeration tower that creates suction and extracts the dissolved oxygen that operates in negative pressure. The precipitated gold and silver in solid state are recovered in the filtration stage, where 3 filter presses are used, 2 operational and 1 in standby. The next step is called smelt, and its goal is to separate the gold and silver from the precipitate to obtain the bullion d'or bars in 20 kilogram ingots.
La fundición que comprende el bouillon doré es la última parte de ese complejo proceso en el cual un mineral se transforma en un producto primario, en el cual toda la empresa trabaja. Y de esta planta parte el lingote que luego, en un proceso externo a la cadena productiva, separa definitivamente el oro de la plata.
The process is very complex and involves many physical and chemical stages that require a high level of specialization, remarkable manpower, and the use of great technology at each step of the way. A very remarkable feature of our company is the cyanide recovery plant, known as Cyanisorb, since it is one of very few existing in the world and the very first to be built in Latin America. This plant has AVR technology, acidification, volatilization, recovery, and demanded an investment of over $5 million to recover up to 95% of cyanide and reuse it in the process later on.
Un dato poco conocido es que la industria minera utiliza solo el 10% del cianuro que importa la República Argentina. El 90% restante del cianuro que importa nuestro país es utilizado por la industria petroquímica, la industria del cuero, la industria tabacalera y también en la producción de vinos.
After the last stage of the process, the pulp is deposited in the tiling dam, where the solution that will be reused is recovered. At this point, the pulp has almost no gold and silver left and is deposited in a dock which was built in a natural hollow in the ground with a rock wall with a special lining. It should be noted that the tailings dam at Cerro Vanguardia was designed within a closed circuit. This means that all the semi-liquid solution that is pumped from the processing plant returns almost entirely to the same place, thus ensuring that not even the slightest spill that may affect the environment is produced.
Otra de las pruebas contundentes de que las napas subterráneas de agua no están contaminadas es que en esta laguna natural, que a su vez es alimentada con el agua proveniente de los pozos de la mina, se crían truchas y hay presencia de flamencos. Y todo esto ocurre a poca distancia de donde está el dique de colas del yacimiento minero.
The containment tailings system at Cerro Vanguardia undergoes several audits a year, carried out by external experts who verify all the controls of operational and environmental supervision.
Desde el año 1998 y en forma ininterrumpida se realizan controles permanentes de las napas de aguas subterráneas ubicadas en el perímetro de este dique de colas. Todo eso es posible gracias a que Cerro Vanguardia ha construido pozos de monitoreo tanto aguas arriba como aguas abajo con respecto a la ubicación de este dique de colas. Las muestras se envían a un laboratorio calificado externo que realiza todos los análisis correspondientes para determinar en forma fehaciente que no se han producido cambios en la composición y características originales del agua de la zona. Pero además, la empresa realiza los controles ambientales participativos en donde invita a la comunidad a participar. Allí son los propios ciudadanos que extraen las muestras de agua, las acondicionan y las envían al laboratorio. Los resultados de estos análisis son enviados, una copia a Cerro Vanguardia, la otra a la Sociedad Rural de Puerto San Julián, donde cualquier ciudadano que esté interesado en conocer esos resultados puede acceder a ellos sin ningún tipo de limitación.
We have a big number of measures in place to protect the environment with the purpose of preserving the fauna living in the proximity of the tailings dam. The perimeter has been fenced so animals don't wander in, and audible systems have been installed to prevent the birds from approaching. Every 12 hours, we monitor the cyanide concentration in the liquids unloaded from the processing plant and in the pond of the tailing dam, so as to control the legally permitted limits, as established by the International Cyanide Management Code. In addition to the control and prevention activities to protect the environment, this group of professionals, acting independently from the mining industry, also work in the recovery of damaged areas so they can be returned to their original state. For this reason, regular evaluations of flora and fauna are carried out, in order to assess the state of the communities through time in the areas surrounding the mine. The results not only show that the population of the many indigenous species hasn't been affected by the mine, but also indicate that they have increased their numbers in time in terms of the amount of species recorded in the surrounding areas.
Basta observar el entorno de la producción minera y ver cómo la fauna convive con el hombre trabajando para entender que la actividad minera, tomando todas las previsiones necesarias, no genera impacto negativo en el ecosistema del sur patagónico. Ahora bien, vamos a ver una fase de este sistema productivo. Cerro Vanguardia implementa el sistema de lixiviación en pila que permite recuperar mineral marginal de baja ley.
The heap leaching process used in many mines all over the world, in the United States and Brazil for instance, consists of preparing the surface by waterproofing the soil to install a membrane and a system of pipes that will allow capturing the solution that will percolate the heap and finish the first process in a huge collector. This solution is then sent to the processing plant in a closed circuit, in which it enters the carbon columns that will allow recovering the gold and silver from the solution. It is important to remember that after gold and silver are extracted, the solution re-enters the circuit to start the leaching process again. This measure reduces considerably the level of water consumption. Every day, all of us who form this great mining enterprise train, study,